Are you feeling exhausted, burnt out, or overwhelmed on your fertility journey? Do you feel like there is way more to your success than the tired, worn out idea that your fertility is only about your physical body and hormones? Well, beautiful mama, you're in the right place. Welcome to Fertile Frequencies Radio, the radio show created for you to empower you on your fertility journey and finally give you a baby. Join me, Lindsay Goodwin, natural reproductive medicine and energetic spiritual fertility expert, as we clear away the doubts, reframe the struggles into fertile wins, and turn what-ifs into big celebrations. Together, we'll unlock the tools to manifest your healthy pregnancy and baby. Fertile Frequencies Radio, your infinite fertile possibilities begins now. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to Fertile Frequencies, where we explore the deep and often emotional journeys of fertility and beyond. And I'm so glad you're here because today's episode is going to be about releasing the weight of guilt and shame in fertility journeys. And I have to say, whether you're trying to conceive or a couple navigating the complexities of fertility, this episode is going to be for you. We'll discuss some profound topics today, and again, I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. Before I get started, I have to state a medical disclaimer, and I want to make sure that you understand that this information does not replace any medical advice or treatment, and it's purely for educational purposes only. And so first, we're going to talk about the burden of guilt and shame. And let's start by acknowledging that the emotions that are often accompany fertility struggles are guilt and shame. And these feelings can weigh heavy on your heart and really making already challenging process even more difficult. And it's important to remember that you're doing nothing wrong. You're doing nothing. I have to say that again, you're doing nothing wrong. Any of those feelings of guilt and shame are just misplaced burdens that maybe society has placed on you or circumstances that have been placed upon you. And they could be patterns that continue to run through your mindset. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, but I am going to talk about a lot today that is going to give you some ideas about how to work through some of that shame and guilt that you might be feeling. So, for example, when I talk about maybe some of those burdens that might be placed upon you of society, it could be things that, or circumstances around you. Some examples that I've often heard is that maybe seeing babies or pregnancy announcements on social media, or you feel that you should be further along in your life goals or family. I hear that often than where you actually are. And I just have to say this with so much love that your fertility journey, your just overall journey in life is always going to be unique. And it absolutely cannot be compared to anyone else's. But remembering that there is support and that you're not alone, but remembering that it's so imperative for you to remember that no one's journey is ever exactly the same. So trying to compare your life to someone else's and where they are is a battle that you will never win because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Because everyone is unique. Everyone is coded differently and therefore has a different journey. And so we cannot do that. And I know it can be so hard to not do that. But once you really start building this really strong self-love within yourself, you stop doing that. You start appreciating yourself and your journey for what it is versus comparing it to someone else's. And I want you to know that it's very normal to possibly be even jealous or have anger when someone else is having something happen for them and you're not quite where you want to be just yet. But it just means that their journey is unfolding differently than yours. It doesn't mean that it's not happening for you. It just means that it happened for them first. And I know that that can be hard to accept and to integrate, but it's true. When you have a driving feeling to be a parent, you're meant to be a parent. It's just that you haven't quite caught up to the timeline of yourself, the version of yourself that's on that timeline. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that you haven't caught up to that timeline yet. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means you haven't quite gotten there yet. So it's really figuring out the dynamics of what needs to change and be cleared to be able to free yourself to that timeline. And that's really what I help people with. And as a spirit baby medium, I often get a lot of messages about the right timing, the act of self-love, and the possibility that your baby is waiting for the right time that's based on their agenda. That this isn't always about something with you or what you need to figure out to be able to move to that timeline. It could be that maybe your baby wants to be in your life when you're a particular age because of wisdom that you've gained or growth that you have gained in your life before they actually incarnate into being your child. It's things like this that we have to consider. And I think it's often not considered because so much of everything in our world, people are so focused on the proof and what's physically in front of you. And I guarantee you that 99.999 and infinity% of what's going on in the entire world is based off of energy, and that the physical is a very small percentage, not even 1% of what actually exists. So if we're living so focused on the physical all the time, the materialistic world, we miss very valuable part to the experience. And that is faith and trust. And it's faith and trust in yourself. And we really learn how to do that through transformation. And it does happen quicker for some people than others. There's no right or wrong way to do this journey. It's just that you're enjoying the journey and that you're accomplishing what you came here for in this lifetime. And so being a parent obviously is a very important part, or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. So I completely understand. And I'm absolutely here to help you with your journey in manifesting your fertile miracle, your baby, but also helping you in ways of other areas of your life and helping you to heal, because everything is connected. And so I want to jump now into something that I love talking about, and that is chakras. And you've probably heard of chakras. If anyone that does yoga definitely knows about chakras, or if you're a yoga instructor, it's very powerful. I use them in medical intuition as well. And you can actually see them as an intuitive medium. I can actually see them. I can see what's going on in people's bodies. I do see a lot of colors. But the chakras are based off of colors, and each one has a different color. And there are main chakras, and then there are chakras located all over the body, definitely in the hands and feet, as well as in the joint areas. And I'm not going to go into all the chakras because there's hundreds of them, but we are going to talk about one specific chakra today. And this chakra is just giving you a little more information, are located in the spine, and they play a crucial role in the overall well-being of you. And it is physical as well as energetic. And remembering that the energy is always the driving force of the physical body. So, question to you, did you know that our emotions are stored in these chakras and can deeply affect our ability to conceive? And so when we understand that balancing these energy centers, they're also called energy centers, that they can unlock these new pathways to successful conception. Remembering that your body is the vessel and that your energy is the driver. So your energy is always going to be the driver, not the other way around. Remember what I said about that most things are energy, because you are energy, which means that your physical body is also energy. But who is the driver of the ship? You, higher self, soul self, you. And how do you know the difference? Because your intuition is who tells you who you are. And so I'll do more episodes on that, because that's a whole other conversation. But when you start listening to yourself, you start really learning who you truly are. This chakra that I want to talk about in the womb space is called the sacral chakra. And it's located just below the navel. And this energy center is the seat of reproduction, and often the most intimate place on a woman, for example. And it gets blocked with energies like resentment and shame and guilt. And when this happens, it causes the fertile energies to become blocked. And it may create an undesirable environment for pregnancy. And there are some ways that you can actually tell if the sacral chakra is blocked. And I'm going to discuss some physical ways as well as energetic, emotional ways of how you can tell. So on women, some physical symptoms, this is not all, this is just a list of some, that you could experience painful periods. A thin uterine lining, you could have ovulation pain, or you could actually have issues with ovulation pain or maybe blockage of your tubes. There could be painful intercourse as well as intimacy issues. Possibly there might be that you just don't feel open about your sexuality, as well as you could have bloating in the digestive system, specifically more in the lower digestive system. We also could have some hormonal imbalances like PCOS and endometriosis. And men also have a sacral chakra, and they can have blockages as well in reproduction. And what we'll actually physically see are things like erectile dysfunction, sperm issues. The swimmers are a super important part of the fertility making process, as well as they can have bloating in the lower digestive system too. And some emotionally imbalanced ways that we might see if the sacral chakra is blocked. You may be fearful about being your authentic self. I stated this before, but you may actually have fear around your sexuality and being comfortable in that, as well as shame and guilt for who you are and possibly your past, probably most people. And you could feel a lack of creative energy. Now, the sacral chakra is the color of orange, and it is the creative center. And so orange is a color of illumination, vibrancy. Possibly if your sacral chakra is blocked, you may feel a lack of those particular energies of feeling vibrant and illuminated. And some of your light, your unique light, could possibly be not fully shining because of the blockage. It's really important to have an open sacral chakra, not only for fertility, but also for your happiness, because being able to be fully authentic and comfortable in those creative energies is such a huge part of enjoying this entire experience. So very important chakra. And I am going to talk more about chakras and how they relate to fertility and health as well as energy, because they are energy centers, in further episodes. In fact, I think I'm actually going to start a series and talk about each one. So definitely tune into further episodes to learn more about chakras and fertility. I would love to hear your comments and feedback below if you have some ideas about what you would like me to talk about. I would absolutely love you to share that. So moving on to the power of release. One of the most important steps you can take on your fertility journey is letting go of what no longer serves you. Now, what does this mean? What this might mean is actually releasing the guilt and shame, what we've already discussed, that could have to do with past experiences or emotions that are blocking your path for fertility. And when you release these burdens, you make space for the new life entering your world. And I didn't mention this above, but what I want to say about the sacral chakra and just fertility in general is that we have to remember that the womb space is not just about babies. The womb space in general is a place of creation, which is about creating anything. So this is creating a new project, creating a new business, expanding your business, a new relationship, strengthening your relationship. The list goes on and on and on because it is the place of creation, the womb. And so we have to remember that not only could these energies possibly be blocking your fertility of having a baby, but also blocking your actual ability to create new life, new experiences from entering your world. So you can work with someone like me that will help you learn how to release these emotional patterns. And I work a lot with intuitive energies as an intuitive medium, but also I am trained in subconscious mind reprogramming, and I use hypnotherapy as well as NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And both therapies offer an ability to be able to reprogram those subconscious mind behaviors and really be able to set you free into new life of being able to be free from some of these emotions and old traumas that have you blocked from new creation. You could, like I said, you could work with someone like me, but if you work with someone else, I definitely suggest that you work with someone who specializes in reproductive health and fertility, or at least understands women's health, or that specializes, like I said, more in reproductive health and fertility. Now, the only reason that I say this is because they're going to be more aligned with you. It's really important to work with people that are aligned with you. And I've been doing this for over 12 years as a reproductive medicine expert. And I know firsthand that when you work with someone that doesn't necessarily specialize in what you're going through, they don't understand what you're going through. They might try to sympathize with you and understand, but they're not going to fully understand what you're going through. So if you really want to have that connection and alignment with someone that is going to understand your journey, definitely work with somebody who specializes in that. And if you do want to reach out to me for help, I offer a discovery call, and we could figure out what treatment option or one of my programs is best for you. And I'd be happy to sit down with you and be able to work that out. Just a little bit on fertility treatments and also the power of trust. I think it's really important to acknowledge that while fertility treatments can be very beneficial, they are not the silver bullet for everyone. If they were, it would work for everyone, and it doesn't. I've been doing this a long time. I've worked with IVF clients for many, many years, other fertility treatments, of course, people on other kind of fertility journeys. The advancement of the medicine of science has gotten so advanced, like it absolutely can work miracles. But the problem is that it's not working for everyone. And I do often, most of my clients are people that have tried everything and they're just at their wits' end and they don't know what else to do. And so we do have this. I'm not saying that all doctors are doing this, but I do hear this where it's almost, remember that doctors a lot of times are going off of complete science and they're just doing what they're trained to do. But sometimes seeds are planted that, sorry, we're not going to be able to help you, or you have to do this, or it's not going to work. And so this starts to plant a seed in the mindset that I have to do this, or it's not going to work. Or if I do this, they're turning me away and it's not going to work. I've seen it time and time again that that's not the case. That's absolutely not the case. So when you're only basing it off of physical energy again, then you're creating an environment within your mindset to not look at the 99.99999 infinity % of the time that it's all energy, that science, physical, materialistic, what's in front of us is less than 1% of what actually exists. And so you can't possibly know what is right for someone based only on what science says. And so I often talk about the placebo effect. The placebo effect is used in science where you, for example, would give one group a sugar pill and then give the other group the actual pharmaceutical drug. Well, sometimes the sugar pill group actually performs better than the actual drug group. And the reason why is because when people plant a seed in their mind that something is working for them, well, guess what? It works. The power of the mind, the power of what you are internally is absolutely just significant, more than significant. It's profound. It's absolutely incredible. It's infinite love and energy. It's way beyond anything physical. And so when we plant these seeds, we're telling ourselves that this is not going to happen. So if you are someone that has been told that you're not going to be able to have a baby or that your only option is fertility treatments, I want you to follow your discernment. If you choose to do fertility treatments, I want you to do what's best for you. If you feel like it's best for you to work with someone like me that looks at all of the variables of you, then I absolutely encourage that. I want you to always follow your discernment of what is right for you because only you know. You are the driver of your journey. You are the one that knows. Definitely, I love science. I think there's a lot of amazing doctors. I'm not knocking science. But what I'm saying to you is that you have to listen to yourself and know that just because someone tried to close a door and didn't want to help you or didn't think that they could, it does not mean that that's the case. So I have so many success stories of people that have been told just that I can't help you or you have to do this or it's not going to work. And it does work. And it works because of them. It works because of my clients when I say them. Because when you know how powerful you are, you can have anything. And I will talk so much more about that because that is something that I really, really believe in and I apply in my own life. And I'm always talking to my clients about that. And you'll hear me talk a lot about that. I'm here to empower you, not only on your fertility journey, but your life, because you deserve to know what you are and how powerful you are. Moving on. And just want to say that when we release these patterns of trauma that no longer serve us, and this could be the very cause of these hormonal issues, infertility, as well as, of course, your dream of manifesting a healthy pregnancy coming true. Just wrapping that up, I can't drive it home enough. I want you to always trust yourself and what feels right for you. Because you're the only one that knows. You're the only one that knows. And finally, I want to touch on some more insights that I received from the babies as a spirit baby medium. And failed pregnancies are absolutely not your fault. Oftentimes, these spirit babies have their own journeys and lessons to impart. And I mentioned that earlier. And this is absolutely true. That it might not be anything to do with you other then you will be the vessel of bringing them into this incarnation, into this world and being their parent. It might just be that they just want things the way that they want it. They're on their own agenda. And so sometimes it's simply a matter of timing or a purpose that we may not fully understand, and you might not understand that until later. And remembering that your journey, everything that's happening within it is part of the extraordinary experience of your growth, of your journey overall. And I already said experience, but of the entire experience. And that's a wrap on this episode of Fertile Frequencies. Remember, your fertility is so much more than just your physical body. It's your energy, mindset, and the whole you. If you're ready to turn those what ifs into, oh my God, it's happening, make sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review, because your vibe deserves to be heard. Until next time, beautiful, keep your frequency high, your heart open, and your spirit ready to receive all the fertile winds coming your way. You've got this, and I've got you. See you next time on Fertile Frequencies Radio.